The idea of an alternative lifestyle is in fact very much in line with ancient philosophy, and in particular the idea of self-realization, which means stepping outside the dominant culture and taking the reins of your own life. Some people call this being self-sufficient, and that is part of it, but it's also not only in the material sense of growing your own food and not paying rent or a mortgage and these aspects, but it's also in our ability to think for ourselves and to come up with conclusions about our lives and what's going on in the world and what our answer should be to live a reasonable life in the world as it is. All of these aspects are part of self-realization, which is in turn part of a very long tradition of Western philosophy. We're reminded immediately of the metaphor in Plato's Republic. In Plato's cave analogy, a group of prisoners are tied to chairs with a fire behind them, and they're staring at a blank wall in front of them. And a parade passes between the fire and the back of the chair, but the prisoners are only able to see the shadows that pass by as they're looking at the wall. And this is Plato's comparison to how generally we are seeing the world of forms or archetypes. And this is the real for Plato. This is the truth. All truth is based on the archetypes. And we can't see the truth because we are programmed by bad socialization. And the idea, of course, in Plato is that through philosophy and self-realization, know thyself, we are able to become more aware of the archetype, of the spiritual dimension, of the truth of the universe, which is for us at the moment, until we learn to take the veil away. It is hidden from us. And largely this is to do with the dictates of our culture, which was the same in Plato's day as it is today. Perhaps it's even worse today. And there are many aspects of just the down-to-earth lifestyle that reflect great philosophical truths. For example, the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, which is a concept attributed first of all to Aristotle, a bit after Plato. And it's a spiritual concept in so much as that although the universe reflects God and contains God, the entire universe in its material structure put together does not equal God. God is greater than the sum of the parts. And in fact, in the series that I'm doing on renovating, and one of the first jobs that I'll be showcasing will be installing a concrete beam. And that's a perfect illustration, in fact, of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, because you can have X amount of strength in a steel rebar inside the concrete beam, and you can have X amount of strength in the concrete itself. But by joining the concrete and the steel together, you end up with the whole becomes greater than 2x. You see, because the concrete and the steel work together in such a way that they magnify each other's strength. And in fact, as I go through this series showing you different techniques of renovating, there are many, many aspects of down-to-earth living and working that are reflecting great philosophical truths.